Thank you. Senator Van Hollen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and colleagues. It was just a few weeks ago, I think, that in the regular Senate Budget Committee room, we had a hearing for Russ Vought, his nomination to be the head of OMB. And at that time, Senator Murray and I both asked him a direct question, whether he would commit to complying with the law, including the Impoundment Control Act. And he refused to say yes. And now he's over at OMB, and we see a whole lot of illegal actions going on, which is why our courts are now filled with various actions and complaints, and judges are issuing TROs. It would be helpful if our colleagues would help those lawyers defend Article 1, because they're shredding Article 1. And I think it's also important to remember exactly who Russell Vought is, because he is the architect of Project 2025. What is Project 2025? It's the plan, the blueprint that candidate Trump, when asked about it, said, I don't know anything about it. I don't know who those people are. And yet he went about installing Russell Vought in the command and control center for the budget of the United States. And what they're doing now is implementing Project 2025. And the reason candidate Trump didn't want to talk about it is because he knew how unpopular it was. That's why he ran away from it on the campaign trail. And yet they now have Elon Musk doing a lot of their dirty work. He's not trying to save money. This isn't about government efficiency, right? If you care about government efficiency, you don't start by firing all the inspector generals, whose job it is to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. In fact, by doing that, you clear the way for more potential corruption. And that is what they're talking about in terms of this so-called Schedule F. They want to get rid of 50 to 60,000 merit-based federal employees and replace them with political stooges. That just invites more waste and corruption. But I think we should take a good look at Project 2025, because I know that the subject of this resolution purports to be focused only on immigration and defense. But if you read the fine print, it opens the door for many of the unpopular proposals in Project 2025, like going after Medicaid, which helps working families, which helps seniors, which helps kids with disabilities, like going after the Children's Health Program, like going after food and nutrition programs for kids. That's all part of Project 2025 that candidate Trump said he knew nothing about, but installed Russ Vought to be the command center guy at OMB. And if you look at this resolution, they actually begin to pave the way for those cuts, just as they paved the way for big tax cuts to disproportionately go to the very wealthy and the biggest corporations. Because the resolution notes a $3.7 trillion cut to revenue over 10 years. Now, I support continuing the tax breaks that go to people under $400,000. I support it for the middle class, but the great bulk of those tax cuts are going to very wealthy people and big corporations. So that's laid out here. The resolution also has a spending decrease of $11.5 trillion over 10 years, including about $1 trillion cuts this year. So it doesn't say where the $11.5 trillion are coming from. I don't know if Elon Musk is trying to dismantle big parts of the federal government to make way for those big tax cuts for very wealthy people. We've seen their actions already at a number of federal agencies. But let me tell you this, if you fired every single civilian federal employee, including the 60% of them who work at DOD, the VA, and the Department of Homeland Security, you'd save $271 billion. Now, that's not a lot of money, but that would shut down Social Security, it would shut down Medicare. And you're talking about $1 trillion. So this year. So I am going to be really interested to see where our colleagues are going to come up with that. And I suspect Project 2025 is going to be the blueprint. Yes, that blueprint that Trump said he knew nothing about. Cuts, as I said, to the Affordable Care Act, to Medicaid, to nutrition programs. And I will also point out that those who say they want to reduce the deficit and debt, as I have, having another tax break for very wealthy people adds to the deficit and debt. And this bill actually includes a little escape hatch. I just heard Senator Kennedy talk about it wanting to be real cuts. Well, if that's true, why is there a provision in here that it says there's a Senate point there? Because there's a Senate point of order right now that prevents us from increasing the deficit by more than $10 billion in any fiscal year in the budget window without being fully offset. But this resolution includes language that turns off that point of order. So if Senator Kennedy or I want to get up and say, this actually, your plan is going to increase the deficit, this resolution turns off that point of order on the Senate floor. So I'm going to be very interested to see what happens here, because what it is a big open door for tax cuts for the very wealthy, for the people who are actually sitting behind Donald Trump when he gave that inaugural address, when he talked about the golden age with Elon Musk and the tech titans behind him. Those aren't the forgotten people that he talked about on the campaign trail, but that's who he wants to deliver tax cuts for. So I'm looking forward to the debate, Mr. Chairman, because we have a president who said he was going to help bring down prices. Eggs are going through the roof. Waffle House just added a 50-cent surcharge for eggs. And yet he's talking about undermining these very important programs for the American people while giving a big tax break to the super wealthy. I look forward to our discussion.